Fair tidings, friends. This is Alana from the Whose Gloves Are These podcast. I just want to put in a bit of a foreword saying that this episode was recorded a while ago. Jacob and I talk a lot about having just come back from the movie theater, going out to see a movie soon, trying to do that regularly. I just wanted to point out that that was a while ago. Him and I are both being very responsible now. We're being very conscientious of the state of the world and how our actions can affect everyone around us, and how it's kind of up to everybody to be doing what they can right now. So, while it's important to be aware, I think it's also important that people can get a little bit of a break. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoy listening to two nerds talk about something that doesn't really matter for a little bit. And I hope you guys stay safe. Welcome to the first episode of
Welcome to the first episode of Whose Gloves Are These?
Well, technically the second episode, but really the first episode.
I mean, you didn't have to say that. They would have never known.
I can't hide the truth.
We just got out of seeing Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. Is it Harley Quinn?
Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
Also known as Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
It's a better title.
Better title.
But also worse, clearly. Apparently.
Unacceptable.
Yes.
That's okay. I get it.
Don't you do it. There's a cat in the room right now.
Also named Jacob, who is trying to destroy our lives.
By the way, who are we?
I'm Alana.
And I guess my name was already given away, but
Sorry
I'm Jacob.
Your identity.
My twin cat.
Should we start with what you thought about it? Because you said you were more curious about what I thought.
Yeah, I'm more curious about what you have to say. So I'll just sort of put my points on the table first this time.
Okay.
This movie is funny in places. It's funny all over the place. It's also kind of a big mess. In really in structural ways. And this is an editing thing. Mm-hmm. Because this movie is about spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, spoilers forever.
Spoilers forever.
For the entire movie.
We're not doing anything substantial before spoilers. So. Spoilers. About 70% of this movie, I think, is in flashback. And it's really strange what happens when most of your story isn't in your story. It's all groundwork for what's happening in this movie. Which is, would you like to give a sort of plot synopsis? Or...
Oh Jesus, can I even?
Yeah, it's really hard because it's
pretty much Harley Quinn breaks up with the Joker. God bless. And
she did that in the cartoon as well. It's really cute.
I mean, it's pretty much following the ramifications of her breaking up with the Joker because she doesn't have his protection anymore, and then trying to this mob boss wants her dead, and she's like, well, if you don't kill me, I'll get you this diamond you really want, and he's like, okay, and then it's just kind of interweaving things along the way, but that's the main premise, is she's trying to get this diamond to appease this dude.
The synopsis is, as you've just said, Harley Quinn broken up with the Joker very publicly by blowing up Ace Chemical Factories. That was one of my favorite moments in the movie.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. I thought when she's running away from everybody, that the guy in the truck who's trying to run her over, when it freeze frames that screaming, I thought that was the guy whose truck she stole.
I thought so too.
But it was totally some other guy who we've never seen before. And I was like, oh, I see what you're doing there, movie. You're being clever. This guy who's who
a
just truck driver,
something. Yeah,
it has now been bopped down. And now he's, some delivery driver. I mean, truck drivers are delivery drivers in a way, too. Just more local and less well paid.
Yeah.
But then it was something totally different. I was like, what movie? You could have been clever here.
Yeah.
There was kind of a lot of that in this movie. You could have been more clever
Yeah,
Or,
like that.
well, better constructed.
Yeah. But I mean, I can forgive it for, like, there was a lot of things about this movie that I really liked.
Oh, there's a lot of things about this movie I really like, too.
Um,
And we will talk about them
Yeah.
later. It begins with an H and ends with untress.
Okay, give me your thoughts, all your thinky thoughts.
All my thinky
Because
big brain thoughts.
I personally know a lot more about Harley Quinn and her backstory and, like, kind of how she develops and where she develops too.
Alana is a Batman lover. You like
Batman. I like the characters around
Batman. But
yeah.
the comics you kind of have to like get into.
Yeah, like I've read most of the Harley Quinn
she has her
New
own
52.
series now. Right.
She had New 52, but they
axed
axed that because
there is no justice.
Because why would DC commit to anything? Yeah, I've read her comic books. I've done a lot of research into, like, her as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also canonically married to Poison Ivy, which I think is pretty tight, because Poison Ivy's my favorite DC villain.
Really allude to that, like, really briefly in, like, the first 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. When they're going through her past relationships.
Yeah, and they show it just for a flash.
Flash is a character, like, in a green unitard with red hair. Mm-hmm. And then that's gone.
Yeah. But she doesn't actually...
I thought Poison Ivy was going to be in this movie.
So did I initially, but I think that's what they wanted to do, but then they, like, wanted to set, like, kind of more of a...
They wanted to franchise build?
Well, no, like, Harley Quinn not jumping from being with the Joker to them being with Poison Ivy. Mm-hmm. Kind of, like, have her be like, oh yeah, fuck you, Joker, and then have her own thing, and then they kind of set it up for, like, more Birds of Prey movies, / more Harley Quinn type movies, which I'm into. Yeah, tell me your thoughts, your thinky thoughts.
My thinky thoughts. So aside from that, I think, oh gosh, like it's really hard to actually organize my thoughts about this movie because it is so all over the place in telling its story. Like, the actual story itself could be wrapped up in about 40 minutes.
Yeah. If
you didn't keep cutting away to, okay, here's Montoya's backstory. Here's Harley Quinn's deal, like 3 times.
I think what it is, though, is, like, Harley Quinn is kind of like the Deadpool of DC.
She is. And this movie is kind of trying to be like that.
Well, okay. Objection. I think it's more so, it's not trying to necessarily be like that. Harley Quinn is, like, I guess, DC, like I said, DC's answer to Deadpool. But it's from, like, her... kind of like she's the one telling the story, right? So it's like how she's just like kind of, she's got a lot of mental illness.
She is our narrator.
Yeah, so like her thoughts are scattered all the time, so it kind of makes sense why they did that. Yeah. But there were a couple of times too where I was just like, please don't go back. I just want to move forward in the story.
Yeah. Where I noticed that the most was the police station.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, at a point in the movie, shows up in a police station and starts beating up all the cops in there.
Such a good scene.
It's a really well choreographed sequence, and it's really pretty what they're doing there, and real badass. Margot Robbie can rock an action scene. Mm-hmm. She rocks several in this movie. We don't understand yet. We've not, as the audience at this point in the movie, been given context, really, why she's there. She just, from our point of view, shows up at the police station, beats everybody up, is about to ask some crucial piece of information. She wants to know where a kid is. The kid.
Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, Cassandra Cain. Is that a comics reference?
She is a character. I don't know. We're gonna Google.
I will keep talking while you look that up. It's about to get.
She's Batgirl.
Something. Oh, she's Batgirl. A Batgirl.
A
Okay.
Batgirl.
All right.
An Asian Batgirl. Hey. Go team. Continue.
So, yeah, she is about to get this thing, and then the movie, bam, stops. Like, freeze frame, and then Harley Quinn comes up with her voiceover again.
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah, like, record scratch, that song starts playing. Not really, but in my brain it did. And we go into another, like, I want to say like a 15 to 20 minute long flashback to deal with, I forget, was it her stuff or Canary?
It was her stuff because I think we flash back because Black Mask, is that his name?
Yeah, Rowan.
Ewan McGregor.
Roman.
McGregor.
Ewan McGregor was having a lot of fun.
He was excellent in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her, like she's like, I bet you're wondering why I got here. And then kind of rewinds to them capturing her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it starts with the Black Canary, and then it goes to her, because that's when it's just like...
Yeah, so what happens is... You're talking about it has cleared my mind. Thank you. What happened is, like, so she stops the movie, as she is capable of doing, as she is the narrator of this story and breaks the fourth wall a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
We're brought to Black Canary, and we're told her deal. She has a brief interaction with Harley Quinn, and the two form a kind of bond.
A hesitant
connection.
Where it's like, hey, you suck. And it's
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, you suck too.
You suck too. Like,
fuck you, bye.
Yeah, like, have fun having nobody listen to your amazing singing skills in this place.
Pretty much. That's, yeah.
I feel for her. Anyways. And then some creep comes along and be like, hey, don't be lonely. And it's highly implied that he drugs her at some point.
I think he just gets her really drunk. I don't think he, like...
I thought there was a line in there at some point being like, she's not drunk anymore.
Oh, no, I think he said, like, isn't this the Joker's girl? And she's like, she ain't the Joker's girl anymore.
I'll be honest, I was having a hard time listening to some of this stuff because the theater we were in...
The music was really fucking loud.
Was drowning everything out.
It was not well mixed. I don't know if that's the movie or if that's the theater.
I know that theater does have, like, they do mix it, like, the scores, like, a little higher for some reason in the way they present them, but also sound mixers. What is going on? You guys forgot how to do your jobs? Because nowadays, I'm not technically hard of hearing, but I still have to watch everything you people put together with subtitles on anyways.
Yeah. I mean, this one was like...
This one was better.
It was better. It's not the worst one I've been in where I'm just like, I don't
like
the sound effects drown everything out, and so does the music. Like, it wasn't that bad.
No.
The music was a little loud in some parts. The music was
extraordinarily loud.
And it was just like, why... Like,
why have you done this to us?
You have to pay, like, specific attention to what they're saying and stuff like that, but...
But, back to the point. And Harley Quinn is about to get kidnapped by some skis-balls. Mm-hmm. And Black Canary shows up, and Black Canary...
Black Canary.
Oh,
God!
Black Canary shows up and kicks their asses. Which, I'm only really familiar with the Justice League cartoon incarnation of the character. And in that incarnation... She was, like, a great fighter, son of, like, or mentored by some world champion winning boxer or something. And she, like, really kicks ass. So when I was watching that, I'm like, okay, I see. Black Canary, of course, kicks ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then Black Mask sees the fight. He gets the idea because Harley Quinn just broke his driver's legs. Be like, okay, I'll get this kick-ass singer girl to be my new driver.
Mm-hmm.
And then she becomes his driver and becomes aware of plot of the diamond, and I'm already trying to, like, my brain is once again racking on how this roped back around to Harley Quinn getting to the police station.
Because, I was trying to think. Because, okay, she becomes his driver.
Yes.
He shows up. I don't know who Black Mask's, like, bodyguard dude.
His BFF guy
his
with all the
BFF
scars.
/ boyfriend.
It's heavily implied.
Heavily implied that there was, like, a romantic thing going on there, which is, fair.
It's fine.
He's, like, trying to tell him stuff. Black Canary comes in, and then Black Mask is like, oh, let me show you all these things. Loop-de-doop-de-doop. And then he's just like,
contrived.
Yeah, he gets jealous, and he's like, well, Harley Quinn isn't training the Joker anymore. And he's just like, what? And then that's like...
Yeah, he tells him, like, way to bury the lead, and it is... And then they go after...
Oh, no, because they were looking for the diamond. Cassandra Cain stole the diamond from boyfriend guy.
Yeah.
And then
And he was
Harley
already
Quinn,
mad about it.
Yeah, Harley Quinn overhears him because she's in the same area running from
Yes.
Renee Montoya.
Yes.
And then she overhears that he's lost this diamond.
No, she's been captured by the time he loses the diamond. She's like tied up to a chair. And he's gonna do is like, I'm gonna kill you.
Because,
scene.
No, they caught her afterwards because she started running. They corner her after she hears this. She's like, zook, gone. And then they capture her, tie her up in the time that they're in the office. And, like, he's like, let's go kill Harley Quinn to make you feel better, baby. And he's like, okay. And then they go down there, and Harley Quinn's like, you're missing a diamond!
Yes.
Does that make any sense?
No, it does. But if that entire... And then we get to that point, and we learn, okay, Harley Quinn, she made a deal to retrieve this diamond for Black Mask.
In order
to get his protection, because she's been a
murdered.
bad person for a while, and she wants to not die.
Yeah.
And doing this will presumably protect her.
She's trying to, like, appease him.
Yeah, I don't trust that Black Mask would have
abided
by that agreement.
I don't think she thought so either.
But that bit is, I think, thematic, and Harley Quinn is once again just trying to appease another insane, violent,
abusive
piece of garbage human being.
Dude, that one scene where he, like, made that girl dance,
that
honestly freaked me out.
That was freaky. That was, like, the movie is like, oh, okay, it's also, how did Harley Quinn know about that if she's our narrator? But whatever. I'll suspend that framing device for that scene because it is so different from everything that came before it. Well, and it is just like, if you didn't hate this guy before...
Yeah, it's just like, even when you see, like...
He's a dirtbag.
Yeah, well, you see Black Canary even, like, tearing up and getting freaked out.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a woman, like, honestly, like... Dudes like that are fucking horrifying. I've never, like, seen anything like that happen, but I've been around guys who have that vibe. And it's like, I gotta go now. I need to leave
because I've heard some women describe it as, like, almost like seeing men like that, like a predatory like, you can tell that, like, by looking at them, the way they look at you, they do not see you as, like, a person. Yeah. Or, like, anything worth, respect and love and attention. No, it's just like, no.
It's like, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah, it's like, he's gonna kill me if I don't do this thing, like...
Or if I do not leave now, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's like, I just need to get away.
Welcome to life as a whammon.
I can only relate through stories people tell me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like guys like that give everyone kind of the...
They do, but
creeps.
only because, I suppose from the perspective of, like, a dude myself, to the emotions you kind of experience when you see that are, like, because everyone's, like, it's not like being a fellow dude in that situation is gonna, like, mean anything or, quote, protect you. So you're also kind of, like, scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, if I intervene, this guy's gonna kick the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, he's violent, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
In just as simple terms as that. So yeah, it's just kind of like the I should do something. I feel the need to do something, but also like self-preservation. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And then like, cause it's really brutal. Cause her friend is there. We don't know the exact specifics of their relationship, but he forces her to like, and that friendship is now probably just like
in tatters,
non-existent. Because
essentially what happens,
he forced him. We don't have his name,
but the Black Mask at one point when I think he finds out Harley Quinn's stolen the diamonds or whatever.
Yeah.
Quote unquote stole the diamond. He sees this woman laughing across his club.
Yeah. He's deeply insecure, it seems. Like that is where a lot of his damage and
one thing,
aggressiveness comes from.
Yeah, one thing I liked about this movie.
Kind of like a shit.
Yeah, is like as someone who has a degree in psychology,
mm-hmm.
not a doctorate or anything really that meaningful, but it's like everything she says about everyone in this thing, in this movie, because she analyzes everybody.
Yeah.
Is pretty much accurate to what I've learned about, but...
Okay. That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, but it's also just like, ooh. Pretty much he walks over to this girl, and who's just laughing, and he accuses her of laughing at him. His boyfriend guy kind of eggs him on a little bit, and he makes her get up on the table and dance. And then he says her dress is disgusting, and then makes her male friend, who's either boyfriend or friend, cut her dress off and rip it off of her in front of everybody. And it's just the most, like...
It is.
Oh, it gave me, like, full body, like, oh no, kind of, like, feelings.
Like, it's a moment that, like, really makes your skin crawl. And because this character has been, all throughout, he's just been, like, he'll tell you to, like, get out, but he'll be like, get out. Mm-hmm. It'll be, like, really very chipper and upbeat, happy about it. Very, very happy. And in this scene, it's just like...
You just see, like, everything that's, like, underneath the mask,
really
essentially.
Who he is. And it's
frightening.
Ugly and frightening. And Ewan McGregor is doing a great job selling this scene.
He was so good in that movie. Like, that's just... It was just...
I can't tell if he was having fun or just really, like, is the kind of role where it's like, I need to, like, or between takes, cool, I'm gonna go shower, guys.
I'm gonna go cry. I'll be right back.
Cry, because that was...
I mean, I think that would be hard, if you're a decent human being, that would be hard to do, is to, like... Because that actress, too, who played that woman, did an amazing job.
Yeah.
At, like, the guy actually, like... I don't know.
Actually looking like she had just been traumatized.
Yeah, like she'd been assaulted. Way. And it's just like you actually feel like... I felt like afraid for her.
Yeah, me too.
Because of how, like, she was like violently shaking. She was like not crying, but she was like whimpering and kind of like didn't know what to do. It was just, she did a great job too.
Yeah. And so like, and yeah, like what he did is like that friendship is ruined. And that's kind of what those people will do, is that they will be their friendship destroyers, because it's like, well, why didn't you, like, if you were complicit as that guy was, but like,
well, it's like what you were saying. It's like self-preservation. Is that like, this dude is terrified of this guy as well.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do whatever he has to do to like protect himself.
Die, but
so I mean, it's a tough situation and it sucks, and it's just, I don't like, that scene is probably gonna stand out to me.
That scene is what I still remember most vividly about this movie, through all of the jumping around between different character establishing, like, bits of history, telling us, you know, what everyone is and who their deal is and how they got to that point in the story where they all kind of come together. Which, by the way, for movie called Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. The Birds of Prey, the Avengers, the team, only really assemble at the last 20 minutes.
Well, I think that's it, though, is because it's like, it's supposed to be like how they end up. It's like an origin story, essentially, for Birds of Prey, because Harley Quinn does hang out with some of the female superheroes and stuff like that, and like does help the Birds of Prey and stuff like that kind of team up with them, because she's more of like an anti-hero than she is a villain. But so I get why they did that. I wish, like you were saying, they would have put Huntress in a little bit more, because she just kind of like pops up, shoots somebody, and runs away, and it's just like,
She is, however, given some very strong characterization, I think, to make up for her immediately. Like, we get Huntress's backstory, the tragic backstory. Her father was a mafia boss, another rival boss, killed her family to take over his territory. She wants revenge. She kind of gets it off screen.
Kind of.
And then shows up at the end to get, like, the last on her list. And we don't really know much more about her than that.
Yeah.
Except for that she's a huge dork.
And she's incredibly awkward, which I loved so much, because you've got Harley Quinn who's just, she's funny because she's crazy. And she just does whatever.
She has, like, no self-awareness of what she's doing.
Yeah. But
so, she's... like, what will other people think of me when I do this?
Yeah.
Huntress is the exact opposite.
She literally is just like you get a scene of her practicing.
Yeah, you're like, they
call me in the mirror, and she's like, no,
they
that's
call
not,
me. They call me.
Right.
That's not, no.
And then everyone
like, calls her
crossbow guy.
Crossbow killer.
She's like, no!
No! It's
Huntress.
Call me Huntress. And she has this really awkward, dorky...
Fist bump scene.
Where she's like,
yes, I too, fellow kids.
Yes. I would like to fist bump as well. And she does the
awkward bent wrist, kind of like lean into it with the elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely socially awkward because she was raised by assassins.
She was raised by assassins.
And doesn't know what to do with herself.
But she is hyper competent at murdering folks.
Very competent
at
murdering
She murders lots
people.
of folks.
I really liked the scene in, like, the funhouse. Like, the fighting scene. Margot Robbie was on roller skates the entire time.
Yeah, that must have been, like, murder on her thighs.
Yeah, she's just fucking jerked now.
Yeah. So, actually, when that sequence started, it kind of was giving me flashbacks to the Schumacher Batman movies from the 90s. Batman and Robin.
Oh, the George Clooney ones? Or is that
yeah, well, I think one of them is George Clooney, and another one is Val Kilmer. We're going to look something up right now. It's got Jim Carrey. Oh, and the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Those are the Schumacher ones.
Okay.
And
Who's
the...
Batman?
Huh?
Was George Clooney Batman in this?
He was Batman for Batman and Robin? Yes.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm. And so when that sequence starts, they're in an abandoned amusement park. And presumably one of the old Joker hideouts. It seemed, because Harley had a stash of weapons and stuff there. So it's like, okay.
And then he took them.
Yeah, and then he took them because he's a jackass. By the way, Joker never actually appears in this movie.
Well, because they axed Jared Leto as the Joker.
Because Jared Leto
dick
sucks.
You don't send a pig's head to your co-stars. That's not cool. Don't send bullets. Don't send a pig's head.
There's nothing method about putting your used condom over the doorknobs of your castmates' trailers. Yes, that he did that. You can't see it.
What a gross fucker.
You can't see it, but Alana was just super grossed out right now.
That's so... Oh, I hate people. I'm method. No, you're just a huge fucking
you're
dick.
Just an asshole. So...
Sorry.
I was really happy that he wasn't in this movie at all.
Yeah, he just... There's nothing wrong with method acting, but when your method acting becomes toxic and abusive, then you have an issue.
So...
I digress.
But... So they go down this secret hatch once Black Mask and his goon squad has arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And... the set design looked straight up out of the 90s Schumacher ones where it's very campy, colorful, and they're an amusement park. Cool, I get it. Even though this amusement park is abandoned, this part still looks maintained, almost as if it was a Joker hideout until, a couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of weirdly expecting that to, it kind of feels a little out of place because this universe has been really down to earth and realistic.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote realistic for a universe where women can scream with the force of multiple jet engines or something.
And a dude can... In Suicide Squad, they had the fire guy.
Yeah, a dude who has an Aztec fire god living in him. So,
yeah.
Still grounded. And this was kind of just... It was silly.
But
looking in a way.
On
brand, but I didn't feel... Well, was it? I didn't think this Joker was the kind of Joker to have, rubber hand carousels that...
But
Hollow Mirrors, sure.
It seemed a lot more like it was kind of more Harley Quinn's thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of more her... Because she was the one with the gun locker and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, the trunk of her stuff there. And then when she opened it and it was empty, she's like, he took fucking everything! So in that respect, it kind of... Well, it's for Harley Quinn, right? So it's it's an old abandoned amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why it wouldn't have all these things in it.
Yeah.
And Harley Quinn is a lot more funny and kind of
manic.
Yeah, than Joker is, which I don't even know. Well, with the new Joker movie, is Jared Leto Joker even canon anymore?
Well, the joke, I think that movie is...
We're just not going to talk about
it. We're not going to talk about it too much, but I also think it's something totally separate at this point as well.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Me neither.
I was not too interested. I didn't get to see a lot of the best picture Oscar movies that came out this year.
I mean, I saw a clip of it. No spoilers, but it was just it just made me be like, this is the kind of person I really fucking hate in everyday life, so why would I actively pursue experiencing something like this? And plus, everyone's hyped it up so much that there's no fucking way it's going to live up to it at this point. But I digress. I think it made sense for Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn, the entire movie, she's bouncing off walls and going and doing just crazy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
so, okay. No, I see what you mean. Because I was assuming it's a Joker space, not a Harley Quinn space. But yeah, no, I kind of. I guess the movie kind of told me not to after the gun locker was closed, but I was kind of expecting okay, we're gonna fight them on our home turf. Go down here. I know what's what in here. We can I can sort of lead us through this because this is my space.
I think that's...
I know where the hidden traps are, how to get through the Hall of Mirrors or whatever, but
I mean,
it was just a big punch up in a very colorful place with the music playing way too loud.
Well, that's a mixing problem.
Well,
yeah, but she does kind of do that. She opens the thing in the floor and just jumps down.
Yeah,
she's
just
let's go.
And then Huntress fucking stabs the shit out of her guy. She murders a man who tries to follow him down the slide. And I love Huntress because she is just so extreme.
Well, she has 0 or 100 as her
she's
two settings.
Dorky and kind of
awkward
and figuring out herself as she goes along. And also no matter what, I am the killingest killer in this group. I will
kill more than you will kill.
Yes.
I thought for sure boyfriend guy, aka Black Mask's best friend.
Zaz, I think his name was.
Zaz. I thought he was the goon that got her out. Because they look very similar.
Oh.
I thought that was going to be a big reveal, but then she just fucking killed him. And I'm like, all right.
They're both pretty bald.
They have very similar, like, facial structures. Yeah. So I was like,
long-faced, bald head.
Yeah. Maybe something happened and he, like, lost his mind or whatever. But then he sees her and he's like, oh my god. And then, but no, she just killed him. Also, Harley Quinn just stabbing him over and over again with a dart was so the best.
It was really creepy. So Harley Quinn kind of gets, like, creeped on a lot in this movie. But there was one scene where they're all meeting up and Zaz tranquilizes her with some paralyzing agent that keeps her conscious. And he's getting real creepy. And then some other stuff happens. He gets distracted. The paralyzing agent begins to wear off. She pulls the dart out of her neck. Zaz gets murderized by Huntress. And then he's just sort of like slumped down on the couch beside her. And just starts like...
Harley Quinn pulls the dart out of her neck.
And like drunkenly like...
Stabs him.
With like no coordination. Just like...
Only like her forearm just hinging.
Only her forearm moves and it's kind of like limp-wristed stabbing. It's so...
Yeah. I mean, it was a funny movie.
Yes. I laughed at multiple times.
I was giggling a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think too, it's a movie about like... on like a more serious note.
Yes.
About like abuse and like the ramifications of it.
And finding yourself.
Finding yourself and like coming out of like an abusive relationship. Yeah. Like when Black Mask like backhands her.
Yeah.
And she kind of goes into that weird...
That was the most WTF. I had forgotten about that until you brought it up just now.
It was weird and I was thinking about like, why are they doing this? But it's... My interpretation is it's disassociation because she was in an physically abusive relationship, and people who go through physical or emotional abuse, they disassociate to pull themselves away from the trauma.
Yes.
So it was her kind of like reflex and putting herself somewhere else.
Something she developed in her time with the Joker.
Is my interpretation of it, and I thought that was a very interesting add-on because I was like, why are they doing a musical number right now? But it's like...
But then the musical number gets kind of messy.
Gets really weird. But it's like, it's her like... It's her trauma and it's her disassociating from the moment and then coming back to it when he hits her again kind of thing. Which I thought was a very interesting thing they put in there because there's been a lot of like when women get hit on TV, you don't see them like disassociate or like the actual like characteristics of trauma like that.
I think that's one thing this movie gains by being framed as like Harley Quinn as the narrator is that, you know, even she maybe isn't really certain what is happening after Black Mass backhanded her because she had disassociated from that moment herself. So we just get this.
You get a blip in her like conception.
How she copes.
Yeah, you get kind of like a glitch in her brain. Yeah, and you see and how she deals with it.
It does feel like a glitch in the movie because it is so
weird
and sudden, and then it gets creepy. And this movie is smarter in ways that I'm coming to appreciate the more we talk about it.
Yeah.
But also all that stuff I said earlier about it kind of being structurally all over the place.
Rings true.
And affecting the viewing experience.
Yeah, like I said, I understand why they did it. Mm-hmm. They tried to go very, very stylized in this movie in a way different than like Suicide Squad tried to go stylized.
Suicide Squad tried to go... Well, Suicide Squad's messy in a lot of ways, but Suicide Squad was trying to be a heist movie. Like the most I could say when talking about like stylization for Suicide Squad is those like quippy like character introduction cards.
Yeah.
So, you know, it has like Rick Flags. I can't remember why I remember that character's name.
That was very specific.
He was the government.
The babysitter.
Yeah, the babysitter guy. And it lists like his golfing handicap. And I was like, okay, well, you're showing me some irreverence here, movie, but it's not really funny.
Yeah.
They do a similar thing in this movie, too. But here it's, like, way funnier. It's actually hilarious.
Because it was, like, everyone's trying to kill Harley Quinn. So they have these introduction cards where, like, someone's trying to kill her. And it's just, like, it's name and then, like, grievance. And it just lists everything that happened.
I just sort of came to this conclusion. I think the difference between when they did that in Suicide Squad and when they did that in Harley Quinn was that in Harley Quinn, they are actual jokes.
Mm-hmm.
They are setting up a situation and they're paying it off.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, Harley Quinn, or this guy who wants to kill Harley Quinn. Who is he? What did she do to him?
But the thing is, with Harley Quinn, everything she does is kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And even that guy who, like, blew up her apartment, it's just, like, name, and it's just an emoji of her shrugging, and then it's, like, grievance, and it was, like, no penis.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, okay.
And then he just launches the thing, and it's just... It's funny because it's just, like... You know she doesn't know why, but she knows she did something.
Yeah.
And she's still just like...
But she's like, well, I guess. I probably was a...
Yeah, I think where Harley Quinn was the only reason I saw Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
She's one of the reasons I enjoyed the parts of it that I did.
Yeah, because Margot Robbie, our Lord and Savior...
Margot Robbie.
She actually really committed to the comic books, like... The beaver that was in her apartment is in the graphic novels.
What is the story about that beaver?
She just has it. It talks to her. It hits on all the girls that come in there. It, like, she can hear it and communicate with him. Yeah, it's a thing. And I was really impressed they put that in there. She doesn't live on top of I don't think she lives on top of a Chinese food place. I think she lives on top of a bar. Yeah, and I think she has 2 hyenas, Phil and Lou.
Yeah.
Not Bruce.
Not Bruce.
But I guess their CGI budget wasn't...
There was only budget in the CGI in the movie for 1 CGI hyena.
You know what? That's fine, though. I'm impressed they put the hyena in there for as long as he was in there. But yeah, like, she actually, like, does her research, and she, like... She's not just, like, one of the actors who's just like, oh, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, and I'm not gonna do research on it. She actually, like...
Oh, I'll do my own spin. I mean, every actor's... When an adaptation, it's all their own spins, but it's not like...
Yeah.
It's not like trying to pull a Jared Leto and just be like, no, the Joker will be mine now.
Yeah, it's like, she kind of... Which I, as a comic book fan, like, respect a lot, is, like, she put the time in to read and to research the character and where she comes from and her backstory, and, like... I was impressed with, like, how much of it was actually in there, because Margot Robbie produced it, and, like...
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she produced it.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Actually, let me double check that really quick. I'm pretty sure she produced it, she directed it, too.
Somebody might be mad at us for being wrong online.
Harley, who would be wrong about being... Who would be mad about being wrong online?
The internet. Birds of Prey.
Margot Robbie
produced it. Wow, that's really cool. I did not... know that.
Yeah, she's the reason that Harley Quinn got her own movie, is because she's just like, I want to do something. Mm-hmm. Because
I want to be Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and Margot Robbie was, as far as I know for sure, do not quote me on this, she was really upset that Harley Quinn ended up with the Joker again at the end of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Because Joker is not her like love story, it's her origin story.
Yeah.
Because that's where she comes from. But she, like... I think she almost kills him at one point in the comic books. Super spoiler. She also has a kid with him. But she, like, has the kid and, like, gives her up for adoption. Because she knows that if the Joker found out...
Yeah, he's like, no.
He would try and kill her or do something. So... Yeah. It's really fucked up, actually. Yikes. So, yeah, like, Harley Quinn... is this, like, very kind of bubbly, crazy character, but she has so many fucking layers to her that it's, like, very interesting. But I'm seeing this, I was worried that I would, like, my fangirlness for the Harley Quinn series would put, like, rose-tinted glasses on.
But
I think it was... I see what they were going for the storyline jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they should have done it.
Yeah.
Because you could have told it all at the same time, and it would have been a lot. Because you and I sitting here after seeing the movie not 2-3 hours ago, we're just like, okay, but then this happened.
But then in what order?
But then we backed up, and then was it her
happened?
story that we were looking at?
Like, honestly, you guys could have achieved the sense of Harley Quinn as the narrator and still maintained a movie that could have had a beginning and a middle and an end. Because this movie has, like, 4 beginnings, 3 middles, and then finally one ending when they bring it all together.
Yeah, and it felt like I watched the same scenes probably 4 or 5 times.
You do.
Yeah, so it's just like, why am I watching this again, though?
Yeah, you see Harley Quinn get picked up by Black Mask's guys, like, 3 times.
Yeah. And it's just like, I appreciate what they were going for. I guess it's kind of like the naming of the movie. Because the movie we talked about this earlier, but got renamed for search engine optimization because no one could find the Harley Quinn movie or didn't know about
Birds
it.
of Prey? I want the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah. So they had to rename it Harley Quinn: Birds of Prey. But I think they were trying to go for the very specific to Harley Quinn type thing where it was like inside her head, like you get the disassociation part, you get like her analyzing everything, but you also like it's just too jumbled to really like. I didn't pay to go see a movie to watch the same scene 3 different times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That part was a little bit frustrating where I did have times where, like I said earlier, like I was just like, I don't want to go back. I just want to progress the plot, please. I'm sure we'll figure out what's going on later. It'll be fine. Like, Huntress, I didn't need to see her family get killed, 3 times.
Yeah, we see that scene.
Kill them once, and then be like, oh my god, you're the daughter of said and said family.
Yeah, and then we'll give you Huntress' backstory.
Yeah.
Where, again, you get to see her family get murdered again, but this time with more added on to it, and it's just...
It's like, just show me it once. I don't need all of the details.
Yeah. So, a digression here, admittedly. The only Oscar movie I saw this year was 1917.
Was that movie good? I heard good things.
I'm about to talk about it.
Okay.
So, the movie has a conceit. The conceit is, it's all one shot. It's not actually one shot. It is many very long takes. But... what that movie convinced me of after I got out of it was, walked out and was sort of thinking about it, mulling it over in my head.
Wait, spoilers?
Oh yeah, no real spoilers actually.
Okay.
Is that there are times in that movie where I have to think, or ended up thinking, wow, a cut here would have done great. Like, there is something to be said for the value of a normal 3, 4 act, 5 act structure to your movie and proper editing.
Yeah.
Which 1917 lacked. And Harley Quinn lacks in different ways, obviously, because Harley Quinn is cutting all over the place. And 1917 isn't cutting at all, but it really, to me, emphasizes the importance of, know what is best for your movie, and maybe don't get hung up on these unique, admittedly, but troubling to your movie, framing devices of telling a movie as it might happen in Harley Quinn's brain, and never showing a cut.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is, there's a certain point, as you and I are creative people,
I'd
where
like to think so.
There's something you want to do that's creative, and then you ask somebody, or you think it over, and you decide that I want to do this because it's really cool, and I think it's really interesting, but it comes at a cost to the actual product.
Yeah.
Because I understand why they did what they did, like I said, but it's just like, it made it, at some parts it was like, I felt like we were making progress, and then it would jump me back again.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being like, oh, why is Harley Quinn in the police station? It should have been like, oh, she got captured by these guys, and this is what happened, and now we're at this part. Like, it shows you that progression instead
it
of...
makes it more watchable.
Yeah. I just think, yeah. Like, it's... I really liked it. I would watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like... If they had just surrendered that part of creativity, it could have been that much better.
Mm-hmm. Related to what you're saying, like, sometimes as a creative person, I am an artiste, though Alana is the one who did the thumbnail art for this series, and it looks excellent.
Why, thank you.
But, like, sometimes you think about, you want to do something, right? You know, for me, it'd be a painting or something, or a painting or a drawing or something. And you look up, you know, like, I want to do it this way. And then you sort of look up, like, okay, how do I approach it that way? And you don't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why aren't I finding anything? Because doing it that way is really hard.
Yeah.
Does not help the end result. Maybe even harms it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, there's just a better way, but it is the way that most people also kind of tend to do it because it works.
Yeah, which I think there's something to be said about trying to do things differently than how others have done it.
Mm-hmm. Well, experimentation is, like, obviously
it's important, but I like the experimentation they did in Birds of Prey. I think the storyline, if it was told more chronologically... Have you seen Witcher on Netflix?
I have.
Spoiler, maybe spoiler.
Witcher,
how they did... It kind of felt like a poorly done Witcher timeline.
Yeah, I think you're not off on that.
My dad's watching it. He doesn't know anything about Witcher, and he's super confused. And he's like, he doesn't like it. I can't say I necessarily like it either that much. So, like, I like this TV show. I don't like the timeline structure. Mm-hmm. I understand why they're doing it this way. I don't like it, but I understand it.
I wish the Witcher series had more witching.
Well, don't we all? But
Anyways.
No, he's just gonna pine after Yennefer. I mean, wouldn't we all, though? Mm-hmm. I found that timeline easier to follow than this timeline.
Which is strange, because that's a timeline that is, like, two separate timelines that the series is trying to bring together over, like, 8 episodes.
Yeah. I won't say I like it more. I think because they're introducing new information every time they jump a timeline, it didn't feel like I was wasting my time watching it.
Yeah.
This felt like a couple of times. I did love the movie, disclaimer. I will watch it again. I will purchase it. Mm-hmm. It felt like I was wasting my time because I was just spinning my wheels watching the same fucking scenes over and over and over again. And it's just like, nothing new is coming of this. Huntress, I wish she would, like you said, would have had more. She was just like, I'm the mysterious motorcycle lady. Flip, flip with my helmet. Shoot you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Like, we spent so much time with Black Canary. Also, Black Canary's powers could have been emphasized a little bit more.
They were really holding on to it really tightly for that one time. We're like, okay, because she is way more powerful than any of them, she's probably like a better, close quarters fighter than Harley. Mm-hmm. And she can, like, scream with the power of, like, a lot of engines or something. She's very loud. They were kind of like, okay, well, we don't want to play this too early. We want to have it be, like, a big, satisfying thing. And I did. I kind of got even, like, goosebumps when she finally sort of, like...
Did it?
Let loose. And I was like, okay, finally Black Canary is doing the Black Canary
But the thing is, I think, is, like, if you don't know...
If you don't know Black Canary...
Who Black Canary is...
Yeah, one of the characters just kind of offhand says, like, you had the same power as your mother did.
And I was like, wait, her mom had powers?
Wait.
What the fuck?
I'm somewhat familiar with Black Canary. I don't remember anything about her powers being, like, hereditary.
Well, from what I understood, what I understand about Black Canary comes from the TV show Arrow, which is sparse to say the least. But she's, and some lore stuff I read in the past, but she was like supposed to be an opera singer, turned superhero, but she didn't have that power. It wasn't like a power. It was like an amplifier that she wore.
Oh, really?
And that allowed her to...
It was technology.
That's what I understood from the TV show, which is probably not canon. But she also had a sister named Sarah Lance, who was the White Canary. Turned... I don't know. I think she was originally the Black Canary, and then her sister took over. But Sarah never screamed. She just fought really good. And then there's the Lazarus Pit thing, and like... Yeah. Spoilers for Arrow. I don't know how relevant they are, because I don't think I ever really watched the show, but yeah, it was like this vocal amplifier thing she wore that let her scream. I don't know how canon that is.
In the Justice League cartoon,
she could just scream.
She could just scream real loud and fight real good. So we want to do some closing thoughts at this point.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
I would say I really liked the movie. It was not perfect by any measure. No, I don't want to face the microphone. It wasn't perfect by any measure. There's a lot of things I wish they would have / wouldn't have done, like you pointed out, like the little things, like, oh, he doesn't drive a truck anymore, he drives this. Because Harley Quinn stole his thing. That would have been... That's
not how it is at all. It's just...
Yeah, it was just like, oh, this dude who's... They could have just left the exotic pet dealer where it was. Yeah, it wasn't perfect at all. Wish they would have had a linear timeline, not jumped around so much. It made sense, but I did like how Margot Robbie, I'm gonna credit her with this, included a lot about her backstory, talked a lot about trauma without directly talking about trauma.
Yeah.
And also like, not to like get on a feminist soapbox, but kind of displayed
people
how scary it was. Not. Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble.
People are gonna be mad about it. It doesn't matter how much disclaiming you do.
That's true. How scary men can be sometimes.
Yes.
I don't want to be the asshole who's like, not all men, but
some amount of men.
Some men are
terrifying.
Scary. They're so scary, not just to women, but to other men as well.
Yeah.
Because like we said about that example, like that guy was scared of him too.
Yeah, he was scared of him too, and he was so scared he was going to
hurt somebody he cared about,
his friend, and do this thing because he's scared. He's just too scared.
So
and get scared too.
And I think that was a big part of it, was like talking about that, and like how he seems so friendly and like kind of funny on the outside, but then on the like deep down he's actually like terrifying.
Yeah, he's actually the worst.
But I really like that they talked about that, the psychology aspect of it. Kind of alluding to her backstory, kind of showing she acts like she's fine, but she's really not fine. She's been like fucked by the world so many times. Yeah, I would rate it probably, I'd give it a solid 7 or 8 out of 10.
Wow. I don't really have many follow-up points to that. You really hit a lot of everything we talked about and summarized it really well. Yeah, this movie's, it's got its structure problems. It's got a really strong grasp of trauma and abuse and what it looks like and how people deal with it. And yeah, I've heard way too many stories from women in my life who are just like, yeah, that was like really creepy and really scary. And what would I have done in that if things had gone further? I don't know. Yeah,
and not to get too deep, but as someone who was in
this is a movie with serious topics on it.
It is, but it's like a funny movie with serious topics, but it's like, it's as someone personally who was in a moderately abusive relationship. Not physically abusive, but like I did understand a lot, and I felt very understood in the way that she handled things and the way that I also handled things post-breakup. And I think they did a really good job of showing that kind of trauma and abuse and stuff like that, and how it kind of like, you're not just out and then you're out. You're like out, and then like things still kind of follow you.
Yeah, there's actually there's this movie, and then there's Invisible Man that is coming out. It seems to be working on the same premise. Because like that movie is also about like, okay, Kate Moss or Elizabeth Moss, one of the Mosses, her ex is dead, and he's an abusive garbage pile, and then she's out. But is she really? Because he might be invisible. And it's all just a big metaphor for, like, being abused and traumatized is kind of like blank. Like, that's how, how metaphors work.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
X is like X because...
It's a physical representation of trauma.
Yeah.
Which I think... Harley Quinn didn't go to that extent that the Invisible Man is.
And Harley Quinn is not, like... It's not metaphorical in the way that Invisible Man seems to be preparing itself to be a metaphor for, like, being in an abusive relationship and getting out is like your ex is always in the room still and he's invisible and he's coming to kill you all the time.
And no one else can see him.
And no one else can see you and they all think
you're going nuts.
You're going nuts or, no one understands.
That's actually a good point. I didn't think about it that way. But... Yeah, what are your closing thoughts? Sorry, I kind of just like absconded.
I think I already said my closing thoughts because you already said them. Again, this is why I was so much more interested in what you had to say about this movie. And when it's getting ready, never mind.
The fuck?
The heck?
Sorry, my laptop's just restarting and
I'll cut this out anyways. Yeah. Note to future me. Cut this out.
You leave it in. Despite past you.
Why
were you more interested to see what I had to say? Just because...
Because I knew you are a female, a woman, and there's only so much I can bring to this movie.
I think
from my own perspective. The most I can add is like, yeah, that dude in the bar was like really, probably truly terrified.
Well, yeah, that's...
Terrified enough to become complicit in the traumatizing of his friend, because that's just kind of how it happens sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing as a woman that I can't really understand either, is that, like, when I'm afraid of a man, like, it's a different emotion than when a man is afraid of a man. You know what I mean? Because, like... I understood that guy was scared because, like, who the fuck wouldn't be? But, like, to think of it in that respect is not something I personally, as a woman, can understand. So I think it's important to talk about that, too. Because guys like that are just fucking scary to everybody.
Yeah. It's just who gets it worse.
Yeah. Kind of thing. But I think we all just need to not be dicks to each other and it'll be a better world. What would you give it out of 10?
What would I give it out of 10? I'd give it, I'm a little more less, or a little harsher, a little less lenient on the,
Gesundheit.
On the technical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really bugged me throughout the movie. My favorite parts of the movie were the parts I could, like, definitely put on a timeline.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And so, I'm gonna give it a 6.
That's fair.
Like 6.5. I will probably watch this movie again just to, like, get it all straight in my head.
Yeah.
Hopefully with you when you buy it, because I will not be buying this movie.
I will buy it. 100%. Well, I just love Harley Quinn. I love Margot Robbie. I love the story and the thought put into it. Don't love exactly how it was executed, like you said. But I thought there was like I can appreciate it when someone who's not super like well acquainted with like a comic book actually puts the effort in to learn about it.
So, what are we doing next time?
I don't know. That was what I was going to ask you. We got Wonder Woman 1984 coming out.
Yeah.
Which I want to see.
I want to see that too.
Okay.
And we have the only other things I've seen recently that I might have interest in showing to you, there's not many releases that are coming out in theaters that I'm too interested besides the previously stated one. Because Godzilla vs. King Kong got knocked back 8 months.
Oh no.
You can't see it, but I just playfully shoved Alana.
Did he playfully shoved, or was it actually out of anger?
No, I don't get angry over stuff like
Tenet?
that.
Tenet looks interesting.
Tenet looks interesting. There was also
Mulan. Sorry.
There was also, though, Color Out of Space.
Yes.
And another movie I saw that same day I saw Color Out of Space as something to cool me down from that cosmic horror fest.
Roller coaster?
Scariest movie I've seen ever.
Oh, good.
Was
Fun
Prospect.
Fact. It's Prospect.
Prospect was a really small, independently made sci-fi movie filmed in Oregon.
Oh.
That features.
Oh no.
That features Pedro Pascal, who listeners would probably best know as Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones. He was the Dornish man who came up and wanted to kill the mountain.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I watched up to the Red Wedding. He was a very
beloved character and a very good man, and like all good men in that series fucking died terribly.
Sweet.
But he's been working a lot since then. And he's in that movie. And there's another look it up online, Prospect. It was 2018. I suspect that this movie is why he was cast in The Mandalorian. Also, he's the Mandalorian.
Is he this dude?
Yeah, that dude. And Sophie Thatcher.
Do not recognize
as well.
Him.
And it's a very small. It's a modest space western.
Oh Lord.
And I liked it a lot.
Mm.
But we might not do that because Alana sounded a little cool on it.
Well, no, we can watch it. I mean, it's gonna be like, sometimes I watch movies that you like.
Yes.
And sometimes you watch movies that I like.
Yes.
Have you seen The Warrior's Way?
No.
We're gonna watch that one.
Okay.
It's like cowboys meets space, meets steampunk, meets ninjas.
Hey, oh, that sounds awesome. Hey, Alana.
Hey, Jacob.
Guess what we're watching?
He is pointing to Godzilla vs. Kong. I watched the old one.
Yeah.
Eat your vegetables.
Oh my gosh. So
good. Did you see that with me?
Yeah.
At the Rio?
Godzilla. I've seen.
Oh no, that was okay. Never mind.
No, I
haven't seen that with you.
To the listeners, no, you saw it ages and ages ago.
Yeah, I saw
someone won't
else.
Be mentioned.
Yep.
To the listeners, I am a huge Godzilla nerd. So when Alana just now said to me, "Have you seen that movie?" All I could think of is which version, which edit, which cut have I seen?
I just meant like with me.
Yes.
Oh,
I've never seen it with you.
Fantasy Island too.
I've seen exactly 0 Godzilla movies with you and 3 excellent Gamera movies.
Was it only 4?
No, it was 3.
Felt like 4.
Wow. I'm glad to see you were so engrossed in those movies.
Well, okay. Those
it was a while ago.
Are not the... They're kind of dry at points.
The third one's really
great.
great.
To admit. The third one I liked.
Yes.
So
as many of those movies are.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the genre. Anyways.
Pretty much the plan for this podcast, I guess, is we're going to be watching at least a movie a week or every 2 weeks, depending.
Every 2 weeks. As happens sometimes in the movie release schedule, there will be downtimes. To try and remedy that and maintain a somewhat regular schedule, we will occasionally veer off topic to other stuff. Whatever we both mutually find interesting and can talk about.
Yeah, or older release
maybe
movies.
Video games, older release movies, because Color Out of Space and Prospect are already out in the world. And who knows, potentially my secret motivation for doing this podcast to get Alana to watch Godzilla movies, because there's nothing else to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to be roasting them probably. But
It may never happen, though, because
That's
you can
fair.
also find stuff. And I don't want to force my friend, my best friend in the world.
That just means you're going to have to watch something that you don't want to watch. There's a cat at the door. Yeah, and we might veer off into kind of do some filler... Video games, D&D.
Tabletop stuff. Because we both run games for
my
For
siblings.
your siblings.
So, ow.
Alternating. We don't get to play nearly often enough, it feels like, but we do whenever we can.
Yeah, so we might... Mostly it's going to be probably movies, but we will probably veer off into other nerddom stuff that piques our interest or we want to talk about. I really want to talk about Commander 2020, because I have many opinions on it, but that'll be for
no
another
idea what that is, but
well, we'll get into it.
I'm interested to learn about it. So,
anyway.
Where can they find you?
Oh God, I am on Twitter at Hoferalana, HOFERALANNA. And my sister and I are also starting a Let's Play channel on YouTube called Sistor, SISTOR, Let's Play, where we're just gonna be making each other play games that we like and the other one doesn't like. Where they can find you.
Where they can find me is at Twitter, at Mr_Christos, KRISTOS. As well as Twitch, semi-regularly, still trying to figure out a stream schedule, where I will be doing art stuff. Learning how to be professional artiste and drawing mostly creatures, maybe some anthro stuff, but yeah, that's what I got going on.
So, and of course you can find this podcast
on YouTube
YouTube. Currently,
we'll look into hosting somewhere sooner rather than later, I hope.
And on Twitter, we'll be
getting our own Twitter account.
Whose gloves are these?
Whose gloves are these? We'll see about the @. We'll let you know next episode. And
that's it.
Signing off. And whose gloves are these?